Page 44, Laredo. It's an old Mexican folk song. 4 sharps. We are in the key of E major. On page 43, they introduced you to the E major scale, the E major key signatures. So we have an F sharp, a C sharp, and a G sharp. You've had those before. Now we're adding the D sharp. We got almost all the black keys covered. We got one more to go. I encourage you to go to my scale video for E major and learn that scale, at least 1 octave up and down. Also, while you're there, go to the minor scale, the C sharp minor. It has 4 sharps also. You're going to need that too, so you just well tackle that. You can stick with the major scale until you get it comfortable, and then try the minor, but you're going to need them both. Just 1 octave up and down for now is fine. If you just get an idea and a feeling of what it is to play in E major with those 4 sharps, that you just automatically just play the right black keys. Because you're just playing in that key signature. It makes the playing so much easier than having to remember, oh, is this sharped or is this not sharped or whatever. Just learn the scale, and that'll teach you which keys are in the scale. Then you play those keys, except for the accidentals. And this has some interesting rhythms to it. And we'll take it one hand at a time, just make sure we get the rhythm. And covering there's a couple things we need to talk about. I'm going to start with the right hand, but I'm going to start with the last measure of the first line, where the piece actually starts. Well, the 8th note right in front of that it's a pickup to it. It's here. And here. And it's a 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. So that second quarter note in that measure is on beat 3. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that F there in that measure has an X in front of it. It's called a double sharp. It simply means you sharp it again. F is here, F sharp is here, F double sharp is here to G. They don't put in a G because harmonically speaking, with the way chords are constructed, it needs to be a double sharp. Also, you just had 2 G sharps in the measure. Then they would have to put in a natural. If they left it as a G, they'd have to put in a natural sign and then put in another sharp sign. My point is, it doesn't matter, because harmonically speaking, and the way I don't get into theory here, but that needs to be an F double sharp. Technically speaking, an F double sharp is not the same pitch as a G exactly. But for piano it is, yeah. So it's 2-4, and then come across, just here. That's fine. And you have that F double sharp again. Now A natural here, because here we have an A sharp too. And then an A natural, and then here. I want to connect this and this. The bottom note we do the best we can, but the top note's the melody. So again, the second line is here. And the second line, last measure, they don't need a natural sign from the E, it's a natural anyway. But they had an E sharp in the measure before. And they're being nice to you. They're saying, oh, by the way, this is a natural here. And it's important, because if you're into improvising or writing your own music, you need to be clear. If there's any chance that the reader might misunderstand, or maybe the reader will think you just made a mistake, put it in to make it clear. Let's go down to the third line, second measure. Well, the pickup beats, the 8th notes, I find their fingering here in the book a bit cumbersome. Here in this part, this is the third line down, the last 2 measures, and going on to the first measure of the third line. These 3 measures, I said. They're going here, here, and then here. And they're staying in this spot and then coming down here. That's okay. I mean, it's not a fast piece, you can do that. But we don't need to go through all of that. Have the hands way up here all the time. Yuck. So do this. You're starting with 2-4, but then change it to 1-3. here on the last one. And then 2-4, and then cross over with 2-4. And then you have a 1-3. I suggest you do a 1, it's a 1-3, and then a 2-4. You had to find fingering that works for you. I'm giving you an alternative. So again, it's here, it's 2, and then here. So we take advantage of these repeated notes to change our fingering if we need to, because in changing the fingering, you change the hand position. So if we can get our hand into a better position for what's coming, by all means do it. Now, last measure of the line. It's 1, 2, 3. That comes on 3, and then 4 is a rest, and then and a 4. If you don't want your hand up here, you here, and use third finger for the here. So the last measure again is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now going on to page 45. I suggest 2-5 here, and then going up, cross over and 4. And then you can do 1-5. And then a 3. See, this playing in parallel sixths is what it's called. The interval between these notes is a sixth. This happens a lot in music because it's a nice harmonic sound. It sounds nice. But for piano, it can get awkward. So let's cover this carefully. I'm doing a 2-5, and then 1-4, and then a 1-4 again. I'm connecting the top note. I can't connect this, and that's fine. It's the top note's melody. And then a 1-5, and now a 1-3. And the reason is because I got an A coming up, and I'm going to need the little finger. So it's here, and now 2-5, and 1-4. I do a 1-4 for the first ending and the second ending both, actually. Now, second ending, at the end of it, the 2 eighth notes. You can do that. That's okay. Here. And then I do a 2-5 here, and then a 1-4, and then a 1-3 for the next line, and then a 1-4. Again, I'm taking advantage of the repeated notes to change my hand position. I'm trying to connect the melody, which is the top note. So that's what I want. And I'm just playing the bottom note as best I can with the thumb, really. I'm using second finger sometimes. So again, the last measure of the second line on page 45, you're here. And then 2-5. And then going on, it's a 1-3, and then a 1-4. And then a 2-5. And then again, it's a 1-4, or 1-3, and then a 1-4. And a 2-5 here, and a 1-4. That's the whole chord. I'm just covering it all in one hand position. And you lift up and repeat that. And then the last 2 lines are similar to what you had before. Left hand rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. It's the same rhythm that the right hand gets. The left hand's moving around a little bit. Go down to the third line after the second measure. You're here. And then you just lift up and move. The last line on page 44, it's a D sharp. So forth. For the most part, that's the left hand. Put the hands together here. Oh, by the way, this is a G sharp and a B in case you didn't notice, and it doesn't matter how you play it. You can use whichever fingers you want because you have a rest before you do the pickup to the last measure. So you got time to move your hand. So it's 1. So as long as you get the rhythm right, we're okay. Again, slowly. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and. So that's a D sharp there too. Okay, and for the most part, that's what we're doing throughout this whole piece. Just put the hands together carefully and slowly, and then once you sort of have them working, go back and take out any hesitations you may have. You can go really, really slow, but get rid of the hesitations. It's got to be a steady beat at whatever beat you're going, eventually. Now, as far as articulation goes, there really isn't any articulation to speak of. You play it pretty much connected. After you get to know it, and you get past the mechanics, and you're not thinking about notes and rhythms and fingering and all that, and you're getting into the music, you can feel the articulation. You may want to put in a staccato or maybe an accent occasionally. You feel it, and that's so. Don't worry about articulation right now. You can do that as you start getting into the music. Dynamics, well, it's soft to start with. But that's the melody. When it comes in, that's soft. The left hand has to go down to very soft. Here. And then the third line down at the end, you're going to go up just a little bit. So forth. And then at the very end, the pickup, you go up a little louder to moderately loud here. The left hand needs to be soft. Then at the end of the second line, you go up to loud. Then the left hand. The left hand can come up to about a moderately soft in that area, but keep it way in the background. See, the problem is when you get up in here, it's too easy to drown it out. So you have to really keep the left hand soft or you'll drown out the right hand. And then at the end of the third line, you come back down, moderately loud, softer. Soft. Soft. I think I'm very soft with that first note. I don't wait until the half note. I'm soft, or very soft there, and then it's just a, you can, however you finger it is up to you, but one note at a time. And however fast you go, again, this is interpretation. Once you get into it and you get to feeling it, this doesn't really slow down any, so it's not going to be real slow, but you can, whatever, you feel that roll on how fast it goes. Then on top of that, the bedded pedal. Well, that's kind of nice because we'd like to have some overtones and we need to connect this a little better because this is really awkward fingering in the right hand. You can't connect everything you need to. But we don't want to smear it up. Now the idea with this pedaling, for the most part, as far as I can tell, is they're going to connect the repeated notes. You see, when you pedal for specific reasons. Here, at the beginning of each of these measures, we have these repeated notes. We want to connect them. We have to use the pedal to do that, because on piano, it's, you know, otherwise we wouldn't pedal it at all. So if you wanted a staccato on the first note, then you wouldn't pedal it. So it's that. Of course, at the beginning you can pedal the whole thing because it hasn't started yet. It's when the song starts, the last measure of the first line, then the pedaling has to reinforce what's going on. And again, it's lag pedaling. You push the note down first and then the pedal. And I lift it up. Before I lift it up with the right hand in the second measure. The pedal comes up because I want to hear the rest in the right hand. It's pickup. There are times in piano, because this isn't really piano music, it's an arrangement, but there's times when we need to have the pedal help us out connect notes we can't connect otherwise. Look at the last two measures of the third line on page 44. You're here. I can't go from that second measure to the third measure and connect everything. The left hand is here. I'd rather connect that if I could, but I can't. And the right hand, you know, I can't connect that. So I'm going to use a pedal technique which is just helping me connect that. So I'm going to hold it down just long enough to connect those two notes together. So I'm going to push it down right after I play the last notes in that measure here. Push it down and then change it right after I play the notes in the next measure. That way I can connect them. So it's just down for a hair, it's down and then I change it immediately. You see the idea is, let's go real slow here. Those last two measures of the third line, it's here, push the pedal down and then change it because it lets me connect it that way. I do that anywhere I need help connecting the notes. That's the only reason for, see, when we pedal for specific reasons. We don't just pedal. And that's one of the reasons you can pedal. Top of page 45, it's the same kind of thing. The first two beats. So forth. And that's really the pedaling pretty much throughout. You get down to the bottom of page 45, the last two lines here. I would lift up on the last beat there in the second measure, so that note is by itself and I hear the rest in the right hand. We're dying away here. We wanted things to go away. So and again, I think I would lift up so I can hear the rest in the right hand here at the last line. Lift up on the third beat or the fourth beat. Something like that. Now in the last measure there, I am pedaling through the rest there. So it's here, rest, and I don't like it being a half note to hold down for two counts because I gotta move. I gotta be ready here. So having it a quarter note gives me a rest, which gives me time to move, but I still want the sound. So I want the effect of a half note, even though I'm not playing a half note technically. So it's here, 1, 2. Here, whatever. And on that roll, different people do it differently. I play the bottom note on the beat, so it's 1, 2, 3. Some people want the top note on the beat, so it's 1, 2, 3. Here. You'll have to decide how you're going to play it, or your teacher will tell you how you're going to play it, huh? The speed-wise, Andante Moderato is just a casual, moderate speed. Whatever. I think about as fast as I've been going. A little bit about interpretation. Again, once you get into it and you get to feeling it, then you can start, because this is kind of a leisurely paced thing out there or whatever. You can put a little stress, a little more emphasis on syncopated notes. Like in the, that second note, that comes too soon. You want to, that's what you expect. So, but they're doing so put a little emphasis on the quarter note. You can do that pretty much throughout. It gets a little old when it's the same thing, but it's the same rhythm all over the place. So experiment with that. You have to feel it and experiment with the interpretation of it. So the things you can do when you interpret is you can alter the dynamics slightly. You can alter the articulation. Maybe you add staccatos or accents in places where you feel them. Don't violate what the music is telling you, but if the music isn't saying anything, and it isn't for the most part, it's up to you on how you want to do it. Pedaling is always a suggestion, so you have to listen. You learn it first without pedal, and then add the pedal and experiment with the pedal to see what it is. Just don't use the pedal to cover up what you should be doing with the hands. Don't get lazy, is what I'm saying with it.